Good morning, students. Today, I will teach a lesson from the 10th standard, that is second unit. There is a girl by the tracks by Devan Kanal. Devan Kanal was a famous writer in English from India, was also a great journalist, and I also a short story writer. In this lesson, he wrote his experience by the daily events. So he saw so many events in the daily that took place on the road or park or by office or anywhere. This is also one such an incident. There is a girl by tracks by Devan Khanal. So you might have seen the accidents on the roads. There is a road accident or railway accident. So most of the time the people used to see and watch how the accident happens, how he was struggling, how the wounded person is struggling, but nobody is ready to take them to the hospital. Here is a one such a situation in which a girl was met with an accident, but nobody comes to help. At last, a person come to help and helped her. How risk he has taken to help her, it will be discussed in the class. See, so there's a railway accident. The railway accident, so it means in a train there are so many people are traveling daily. If they try, if accident happens, it is a very risky job for the department to so, admit them to the hospital or serve them or give them to the treatment. Here is a incident. Nobody dared to go where this youngster did. There's a slogan here in the beginning of the lesson. Nobody dared to go where this youngster did. Let's see who is that youngster, what he has done. See, as the Mumbai suburban electric train made its 22nd 6:30 p.m. halt at a station. Commuters swarmed out and into its 12 packed coaches. It is a regular scene in and around India's most populated metropolis. In Mumbai, so as Mumbai suburban electric train means city train. As like we have a city buses in our cities, there are city trains in the metropolitan cities like Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, etc. Here in Mumbai, suburban electric train made its 22nd halt at a station at the time 6:32 p.m. Commuters swarmed out. Who are the commuters? Commuter are the persons who go to their workplace daily. Swarmed out, rushed out, and it's 12 packed coaches. The train had a 12 coaches. It is a regular scene and around India's most populated metropolis. It is not a uh, rare scene. It is a common scene in all the metropolises. What is metropolises? Metropolitical cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore. So in these cities, it is a common scene. It is not a new one. It is a regular scene in and around the most populated metropolis. Having jumbled to manage to squeeze the resources in such a situation, in such a rushed condition, a girl wanted to squeeze herself into a squeeze means pressed into the compartment, into a ladies compartment. That is 21 years old call center executive Romal Talreja tried to settle into the corner near the door. So in such a situation, in a train, in a electric train, city train, a 21 years old call center executive, who was she? Yes, she is Roma Talreja tried to settle into the corner. She wanted to struggle to get into the compartment and to settle at the corner of the door. The train hurdles. Before she could settle herself in the compartment, the train hurtled ahead, and Roma jumbled between other women. She was jumbled between the other women because there are a lot of passengers in the train, and she was trying to find some space to stand safely on. She was struggling to find some space, some safe place. So as before she could safely stand, she suddenly got pushed. In this humbling and jumbling, some people pushed her. So as a result of this push, she lost her tensor foothold. Tensor means very weak. Her foothold was very weak, and she was panicked. Panic means afraid very much. As a result of the pushing in the by the passengers in the train, she lost her tensor foothold and panicked. Her hands reached for the steel railing above. Before she could fall down, she tried to hold the steel railing above. She wanted to hold it, but finding only air, she could not get the railing. Instead of that, what she got? Just she hold only air. Roma was thrown out of the coach. As a result of that, she was thrown out. Throw out of the coach. The clattering roar of the train muffled the thud of her fall. Though she fell down from the train sound is like a roar. It was a high sound. The trains are regularly having a loud sound. As a result of that loud roaring sound, that muffled the thud of her fall. Though she has fallen, that sound can't hear heard by the others as a result of the loud voice of the loud sound of the train. More than a meter below, she was knocked. She was fell down more than a meter below from the train, and she was senseless. She was become unconscious. By then, standing near the door of the another train speeding in the opposite direction. Roma's train was moving in a one direction. In the opposite train, in the direction, one more train was coming. One more train was coming in the opposite direction. A 20 years old Baleshwar Mishra could not believe what he had just seen. That fell off a girl was seen by another person in the opposite direction. He saw the Roma was fell down from the train. It was seen by a 20 years old Baleshwar Mishra. Could not believe what he had just seen. Young woman in black salwar kameez lying next to the tracks. Meanwhile, gasps, screams emanated from the compartment. There is a girl by the tracks. The voices cried out. Baleshwar could not understand what he has just seen. The passengers in the trains cried. There is a girl by the tracks. The voices cried. Impulsively, quickly, Baleshwar went and grabbed the train's red emergency chain, pulled it down frantically. So, without thinking anything, Baleshwar went to the and grabbed means pulled the train's red emergency chain and pulled it down frantically. Frantically with no hope. He had no hope, but he tried to stop the train. The train screeched. As a result of that, the train driver applied the brake, so it was screeching sound, slowing down. He then surveyed the compartment full of weary faces. He made an observation. So there are a lot of passengers in this train. They were full of wearies. Why that fellow was stopping the train? It is a regular scene. It is a common. Every day we are seeing such accidents. One or another place. But why this fellow is stop the train? That's why they were full of wearies. Let's go and help. He asked. Baleshwar asked the other passenger, let's go and help her, he shouted. But nobody volunteered. But nobody volunteered. Nobody volunteered to help Baleshwar, to help the Roma Talreja. Afraid of getting involved, being inconvenienced perhaps. Why did not they volunteer to help that girl? Yes, because they were afraid of getting involved. They were afraid. What were they afraid? They were afraid of getting involved, being inconvenienced perhaps. So after that, the police may make a questions, or they have to face some trials in the court. That's why nobody volunteered to help her. His heart hammered his chest. If nobody comes to his help, he himself volunteered to help her. By then his heart hammered, his heart was beating so fast. Baleshwar showed means moved himself to the door and jumped off the still moving train. Baleshwar so quickly went near the door and jumped off the still moving train. As he landed on the ground, a burst of pain shot up in his ankles. As a result of his jump from the train on the ground, there was a shot of pain in his ankles. But there was no real damage. So there was little bit of pain. There was no real damage for his legs. Damage got up to find the part of the old rubber slipper sole torn off as a result of his fall. What was the result of his fall? His old rubber slippers slipper sole was torn off as a result of his fall. Baleshwar started to sprint. Sprint means speed run. Sprint back between the tracks. Between the tracks. And the train picked up speed again and disappeared. After Baleshwar jumped off the moving train, so within a few seconds, the train picked up its speed once again and moved fast. By then, Baleshwar saw the girl. He can't see her in any distance of high, so he ran between the tracks in the behind, backside between the tracks, picked up the train. Meanwhile, the train picked up the speed again and disappeared. This is about the first subunit. The first subunit, we learned that there is a lot of rush in the metropolitan cities. So the daily commuters were coming and going through them. One day, what happened? A 21 years old girl, Roma, get into the compartment. Before she could settle properly, she thrown out of the train by the passengers. She tried to took hold the steel railing above, but she could not find. Only got the air. So Roma fell down from the train and fell as unconscious. It was seen by another person called Baleshwar Mishra and the opposite direction, who was standing near the door. Seeing this, he was surprised. So every people in the every passengers in the train of the opposite, they cried out, "There is a girl by the tracks." So impulsively, Baleshwar grabbed that red chain. Nobody come to his help. He saw only very faces. He said, "Let's go and help her." But nobody volunteered because they were afraid of being inconvenienced, perhaps. But his heart was beating fast. He was very feared. He showed himself in the opposite direction, ran between the tracks. So meanwhile, the train, which was slower, also got up speed and disappeared. This is about the first unit. And now answer these questions. Share your responses. It is a regular scene. What was the regular about the scene? Roma Thalreja tried to settle on the corner near the door in the train.